Hi, my name is Daniel McKinley, and I'm here at Zia Comics in Las Cruces, New Mexico. And today, I'm going to teach you the 2006 Spiel des Jahres winner, Thurn and Taxis. So to set up Thurn and Taxis, you shuffle all the cards, deal out 6 of them available, and sort the tokens by each of the regions. Then you also have all the wagons here, up here, listed by 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then each player picks a card showing their color on the border and all of the houses or the stations of their color. I have them all mixed up here. And just as a disclaimer, I know I'm not going to pronounce any of these correct, so please forgive me if I do say them incorrectly, but I want to give an overview on how the game works. Finally, these tokens that you're placing in each of the regions should be decreasing in value with the highest value on top. On a player's turn, a player is going to take a card, use a special action, and then play a card. It's as simple as that. Each of these 4 special actions we'll talk about here in a minute, but at the very first turn, you're going to be using one of the special actions immediately. So, the first example right here, this gentleman, he lets you draw an additional card from the market. So let's say I wanted to pick up both Augsburg and Budweis. That would be my special action. First I took a card, then I took a second card using the special action. Then finally I will play a card in front of myself, like so. I'll play Budweis. Now, I am building a track right here in the German postal system. You want to make sets of these to get points, and you also want to complete different routes around the different areas of Germany in order to put out your control markers and build the wagons from this. You'll notice this first wagon card says 3, and it's worth 2 victory points by the shield. The 3 is how many cards you're going to need to play in order to do this. On a future turn, in order for me to play off of this card, I need to play a card that is adjacent to Budweis on either side. And I am making essentially a route. Then these cards are refilled again, and it is the next player's turn. They would also take 2 cards, like so, and then play 1 in front of them. After the first turns of every player, then you may take any one of these actions. So let's go over those now. This one is like the first gentleman, except he will let you play 2 cards instead. This person, you can take this action before you take a card, and it makes you discard all 6 of the cards that are currently available and refill it. You still only get to take 1 card and play 1 card on your turn. And this gentleman will let you take a card that has up to 2 requirements more than what you need. So for this example, if I wanted to take this cart that would normally take 3, I could do it with as simple as 1 card, just because of his action. Where later on, if you want to get a cart up to 7, you only need 5 cards in a row. But I'm going to wait on that for now. Let's say I take Linz, and let's say I take I will take Munchen into my hand, and then I will play a card. Same with earlier, I can play it on either of the 2 sides, so I'll play Linz, which they do connect adjacent, like so, and then from a future turn, I have to play either adjacent to Linz, or play a card adjacent to Budweis. And this continues. So players will be building routes throughout this, trying to build connected adjacent areas. So I have to read this upside down, so forgive me if I'm a little off, but let's find some cards that will connect to Budweis and Linz. So we would take some of these cards, and let's say I've built a route from Pilsen to Budweis to Linz. And I'm now ready to claim my first cart. At the end of my turn, I have completed that route for 3 cards, and you do have to go in order from 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7. And I have completed this. So I take this card, I discard those, and now I have a choice. I can put my control markers in one of each colored city that I would like. So I choose to do one of each color. So I could do Linz and one of these two, or I can do one of the stations at all of them of the same color. So I could do both of the orange. Let's say I do Budweiser and Pilsen. Then these cards get discarded and the play continues. The reason this matters is because as soon as a player gets their control markers on all of the spaces in a region, like so, then they get to take the topmost point marker for the end of the game. Multiple players can have control in multiple, but you cannot have more than one station in each region. It'd be kind of pointless to do so. Also, if you have it in all 7 regions, you get to take topmost control marker here. And finally, just because I was able to complete a route with 3 doesn't mean I might not want to go more, even though I would only take the 3 cards. The reason being for that is right here, 5, 6, and 7 length routes, you can also get bonus points. So if I completed a 7 route right now, I would get 4 bonus points for the end of the game, even though I would still take the lowest valued cart. Now my next goal, since I've collected my 3, would be to get the 4 carts. After that would be the 5 cart, and so on. The game continues taking turns like so, until one player has completed their 7 length cart. When that happens, the end of the round is triggered, and everybody then gets one more turn, including so everybody gets the same number of turns. At the end of that round, players count up the number of points that are on the bottom of their carts, plus any points from tokens that they've achieved, and the player with the most points wins. And that is how you play Thurn and Taxis. One very important rule that I want to add on to that is that as you're playing cards in front of you, if you are ever forced to play a card, because you do have to play one card at least every turn, that would not fit on either side of your route, then you would discard all of the cards in front of your route. This adds a really neat push your luck element to the game as you're playing. Because of course you want to go for a longer route, but then at the same time it gets riskier and riskier with every turn. As you can see, this is a really fun game. If you are familiar with the Spiel des Jahres award, you'll see how this follows in line with a lot of the classic games around that time, Ticket to Ride, Carcassonne, just to name a few, and this is a great addition. The only thing is I wish that they would have brought it to an English-speaking audience, and that it's easier to find in English. But right now, find a German copy and translate it if you need to, but it's a phenomenal game.
Get nerdy with me. Tell me what game that you get on. Is it card or read? What kind of class do you play, girl? In an RPG?